Man, I'll tell you what, it was a good combination because they were like wild animals, and we were the young white meat baby faces, meaning that we were there to draw the women to the wrestling matches, that demographic, and it was just unbelievable how our matches with them guys were. Those guys were really something else, and I mean, my goodness, man, they made us make believers out of everybody. And what I meant was hey, these guys, you talk about Tommy and I, well, I was going to say these two handsome guys. I wasn't talking about Luke and Butch. But I'm just saying, they said these guys were, not only did they look good, but man, they got in the ring, they were willing to bleed like stuck hogs. They were ready to fight to the no end. And you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but Jonathan Boyd, who was one of the Sheepherders as well, that guy was incredible. And we wrestled against that version, and Rip Morgan. I don't know if you guys remember that version of the Sheepherders or not.
Oh, yeah.
You see, and everything. So the Sheepherders were unbelievable. I had a guy from New York. I can't think of his name. I think his name's George something. But he told me, he said, when I came to the New Orleans Superdome to watch that Crockett Cup, he said, I seen you standing there, and I thought, what's that little blonde-haired guy going to do, man? He said, I'm used to seeing the big guys in New York, even back then. You know, New York was a big man's territory, you know, not that Southern-style wrestling. And he said, man, I went out there. He said, and you guys went out there and stole the show. And if people don't know it, every tag team that was anybody in the world was there at that Crockett Cup. From Giant Baba to Tiger Mask to the Road Warriors to everybody that was anybody was there in that tournament. And for us to be blessed to have been said, the Sheepherders and the Fantastics stole the show, that is a true compliment that I am very humbled to receive. And I mean that with all my heart. There was Lady Maxine out there and Jack Victory, and Luke and Butch were great guys. As a matter of fact, Luke Williams kind of gave me my first break in San Antonio. Him and Jonathan Boyd were the bookers. And a lot of people don't realize that. But the Sheepherders, later the Bushwhackers, were bloodthirsty, mate, bloodthirsty, the blood and guts. And they helped get us over. I'll say that much.
Definitely a memorable match. Anybody out there that needs to see it or should go out there and see it, you need to see it. 5-star match, obviously. One of the greatest matches of all time. Definitely one of the greatest tag matches of all time. And it's funny because not a lot of people think of them as great workers. Obviously, they think of the Fantastics as great workers. They never really think of the Sheepherders as the great workers.
You know what the difference is, brother? They're hard workers. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
By being a hard worker. They get in the ring and look here. How many times have you watched the MMA, UFC, and seen a guy do a backflip off the top cage?
After they won a few times.
Not after they won, during the fight.
Oh, no, never.
And if you'll notice, and guys don't understand this, that stuff's good. But look, the Sheepherders, what they did equaled a backflip off the top of the cage. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those guys were incredible. The people believed it. Their promos were unbelievable. And not unbelievable, but believable. But what I'm saying was they had lots of heat, and they had the ability to draw money because people wanted to see them get beat. We were getting ready to wrestle them in WCW, and then they left and went to New York. They were setting up to go, Dusty had setting that up to go into that same feud we did in UWF. We were going to do it again in the NWA. And then they went on and went to New York and became the Bushwhackers, which probably blessed them with longevity and a career, because my goodness, that wrestling style they were doing was just unbelievable, but they were great.
You guys seem like, obviously that was like the epic time for all those great tag teams. It seems like you guys are, wherever you went, seemed like you end up with a great feud or, against a great team. We mentioned the Midnight Express, but then even like Arn and Tully, who were just, horsemen, some of the greatest tag teams of all time as well.
We had great matches with them. We wrestled them in that Crockett Cup down in New Orleans, and then we wrestled them in that other Crockett Cup. I remember, I think Jim Dillon's infamous shoe knocked me out in the match or something like that. But he must have had a heavier phone than Maxwell Smart. I think he must have had some concrete in that shoe, that loafer.
Awesome.
He knocked a lot of big men out.